For a channel that doesn't actually specialize in microphones, because I'll be honest, I'm no audio engineer, I sure seem to review a lot of them. And today is no different, because today we're gonna be comparing the Comica VM30 to the Rode VideoMic NTG. But now the purpose of this video is to decide which one of these microphones is for you, because one of these microphones has some really cool features to offer. And one of these is from a brand that's been around for years and knows what their consumers want. Neither one of these necessarily is a bad microphone, but maybe one of them is better for your use case scenario than the other. Now, while I haven't been doing this for a long time, I think I've gotten the gist of it. And so with that, there are three things that make up great videos. Thing number one, obviously, is going to be your lighting. That is going to be how you light yourself, how you light your subjects, things like that. Thing number two is obviously going to be your visual production. And so that's going to be your camera, your lens, etc. And then thing number three, and that's what we're talking about today, is going to be your audio quality. Because at the end of the day, you don't go to the movies to just see something. You want to hear it. You want to be immersed in that audio. And because of that, audio plays a huge factor. It's not the same watching the Avengers on your couch versus in a big theater with all of your friends, if that kind of paints the picture for you. Let's go ahead and jump into a quick overview of what each of these microphones has to offer, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually start with the Comica VM30. So just right out of the gate, let's address the elephant in the room. This is the VM30, and it is a wireless shotgun microphone, which means twofold. One, you can use this in a normal setting where you plug it in via some cord and it works. Option number two, and this is where it differs from the Rode, is you can also use it wireless. So it does come with a wireless receiver that attaches to your recording device. In this case, it would be a camera or maybe a computer, but that's up to you. And then you can transmit the audio from this microphone wirelessly to that receiver. And so now you have a wireless setup. So if you wanted to use this for interviews or whatnot, you can do so. This microphone also features 24-bit audio, it's rated for several hundred feet, and honestly, it's really good even at distances. Additionally, this microphone only weighs 93 grams, making it extremely portable, especially for run and gun creators that want professional sounding audio on kind of a budget. Now, this is the tried and true Rode VideoMic NTG. This microphone has been on the market for years now. It's not as new as the Comica VM30, which is only a year old. I feel like that's probably worth mentioning, but this microphone knows what it's doing. This microphone is very robust. They both feature very similar builds. However, this one is only wired. It does not have the wireless capability that the VM30 does. Like its counterpart, it is 24-bit audio. It weighs 94 grams, so 1 gram more. It also only works via wired connections. However, both of these microphones work either via a 3.5mm port or via USB-C. So if you wanted to plug it directly into your computer or some other device, you can easily do so. So this mic is ideal for, podcasting, talking head stuff, vlogging, interviews, anything that you need to do as long as you can be plugged in. Now, obviously the biggest purpose of this video is going to be the audio test. Which microphone sounds better? And honestly, the results are going to shock you, because let's just go ahead and jump right into it. This is the sound quality from the Rode VideoMic NTG. It is sitting above me. It's approximately 12 inches from my face. It's right about here. I'm not gonna touch it because I don't wanna screw with y'all. Actually, I am gonna touch it, watch. Whoops, didn't mean to shake the whole arm, but yeah, that's how it sounds. You guys know it's right out of frame. You can just barely, actually no, you can't even barely see it. It's right there, it's right out of frame. You guys don't wanna see it. Why would you wanna see it? It's a microphone, come on, give the program. This is how this microphone sounds. Let's go ahead and let's see how the Comica VM30 sounds. You are now listening to audio from the Comica VM30. This is also a really good microphone. Less bassy, more of a highs and mids mic, which is really good, especially if you have a voice for that, which personally, I have a very high voice. I kind of like adding a little bit of bass to it, so the Rode VideoMic is probably more up my alley. But again, this microphone is approximately 12 inches from my face. It's actually popping into the frame just a little bit. You guys can see it. I'm not gonna touch it this time because, we don't wanna bounce the arm, but you guys can see that is where the microphone is. It's maybe 11 inches from my face. So let's go ahead, let's step outside so you guys can hear how they sound in different environments. This is the Rode VideoMic NTG. I have the camera probably about 18 inches away from me, maybe 20 inches at the most. This is overcast weather. That's my dog peeing in the background because, oh, a dog's gonna do what a dog's gonna do. You guys get the idea. This is what that microphone sounds like. I have a little bit of an echo from my house right now, and my neighbor right there is currently whistling while he works, kind of like one of the 7 dwarves, right? Can I still say the dwarves? Is that bad? It's in context of the Snow White movie, if that makes it better. What are we doing? Hey. No? Nothing? All right. Cool. But yeah, this is the Comica VM30. Again, we are roughly, I was going to say approximately, we're roughly about 18, maybe 20 inches away from my face. I'm holding the camera. Hopefully my arm's not too shaky, but I'm going to stabilize this post anyways. That way you guys don't even know. But this is what it sounds like outside. This is for vlogging, head talking, TikToking, YouTube content creation. What is my dog eating? I don't know what you guys do with these microphones. I want to know, what do you guys actually do? Do you guys just like film yourselves? Do you like skateboard? I don't know. Anyways, let's go back inside and keep talking about this mic. So I don't know if you guys were as surprised as I was, but clearly there is a winner, and the winner is both of them. Because honestly, the Comica does an amazing job, and so does the Rode. The Rode, as expected, sounds beautiful, but the Comica, surprisingly for being a much newer company in comparison to Rode, sounds great too. And for the price point, it's really hard to beat it, because honestly, this microphone sounds amazing. It is feature packed. There's so much that we're going to talk about in this video, but if you actually want a more comprehensive video talking about either of these microphones, I've actually reviewed them both individually, and those will be placed in the description below. Now, when you receive these microphones in the box, they do have a few things that are actually in common, and you'll receive them on both. So for instance, both of them will come with a foam windscreen. That is great for, inside environments. You'll also get a shock mount that will adhere to your camera. It's got a shoe mount on it. Sometimes they have a thread in the base of it, which both of these do, by the way, but that is also something you get. Additionally, you get all of your media cables, so your 3.5mm cables, your smartphone cables, whatever you may need to connect these cameras to your preferred device, you get that. Additionally, you also get a USB-C charging cable, but that can also double as a USB-C to USB-A cable, so if you wanted to plug it into your computer, you can easily do so. Feature-wise, as we'd already mentioned, they're both 24-bit, which is amazing. I would love to see 32-bit microphones, but obviously that is in a different price bracket, so these ones will have to suffice. Additionally, when it comes to filters, they both have a 75 and 150 Hertz high-pass filter, as well as a boost filter and a safety track. Now, I do want to mention the Comica VM30 has a safety track, but it only works in wired mode. It does not work in the wireless setting. Both of these microphones also feature some really cool technology because they have internal batteries. So in order for those not to die, they have this cool auto sensing technology where it allows the microphone to turn on and off based on if your camera is actually recording. So in the event that you plug it in via the 3.5mm cable and your camera is off, then the microphones will turn off. As your camera turns on and audio starts to record and go through them, then the camera turns the microphone back on. So now you don't have to worry about your battery dying in between takes, which is always something annoying. But these things have great battery life, which we'll dive into a little bit later because they do vary just a tad. But when you are connecting them, you can connect them via USB-C to charge them, or for output, you can also use that USB-C port, or you can use the 3.5mm port. Because they have 3.5mm ports, you can also use them with your smart devices. However, I do want to mention that a lightning cable is sold separately for both of these microphones. The last thing that's worth mentioning, and this is probably the coolest part about both of these microphones, is they both have a variable gain knob. So if you want to turn up your audio on the go, you can do so, or if you're in an environment where you really need to crank it down, you can also do that as well. Obviously, while both of these microphones are creator friendly, this is where they actually will start to differ, and you're going to see which one will probably make more sense for you and your budget. Now, starting off again with the Comica VM30, this one probably makes more sense to buy, especially as a first-time microphone. So this microphone straight out of the box actually includes its own hard carry case, whereas the Rode does not. That carry case houses all of your cords, all of your cables, the microphone itself, the foam screen, and the windscreen. The windscreen is not included on the Rode. That is something that you have to purchase separately, unfortunately. Another thing that's also included in this is obviously this microphone has a boom arm clip, whereas the Rode does not. It only comes with a shock mount. The other thing, and this one's probably a given considering we talked about it earlier, is it does come with a wireless receiver, which is unneeded with the Rode. The Comica also varies more as it has a screen on it, which shows you some of your settings. So it shows you your connectivity, your battery life, if you're clipping or not, whereas the Rode only has LED indicators to show some of that information. This microphone also has 10 levels of gain adjustment, whereas the Rode actually has 15 levels, which is kind of cool. But circling back to this one, if you use it in wireless mode, the transmitter itself, the microphone, has 10 levels, and then the receiver has an additional 12 levels of adjustment. So, you have a lot more adjustability in that wireless setting. Now, when it comes to battery life, that definitely will start to take a toll because the battery life of this thing has a whopping 7 hours, which is kind of crazy because if you use it in wired mode, you can get up to 50 hours out of the setup, whereas the Rode only has 30 hours. So it's about 20 hours less. You can get pretty much like 1 day less of recording out of the Rode VideoMic, but I don't know any time that I'm actually going to be using a microphone for that many hours consecutively, but I understand if you're on a shoot and you're on the, on the go, then maybe that may make more sense to you, but maybe that doesn't make sense to me. Obviously the build quality of these two mics is really good. They both have a metal composition. However, this one has a textured finish. It's almost reminiscent of something you would get that would be waterproof, whereas this one is a very smooth finish. Now, when it comes to build quality, the Rode has to shine because, the quality of the materials is just better. The foam screen on the Rode is thicker, it's more plush, whereas the foam screen on this one, the Comica, is thinner. It almost feels cheaper. And when it comes to feeling cheaper, there's a lot of stuff about this mic that is cheap, like the gain knob. The gain knob on the bottom of these microphones, this Rode VideoMic has a lot of resistance to it. This one is very susceptible to just kind of moving on its own, which is good and bad. But if you're in the environment where you're holding this microphone because it's wireless, you may accidentally bump it out of, whatever your preferred volume is, and then you're gonna have to up it in post. And because they're 24-bit, you're probably going to introduce some noise. Now you're gonna have to do post-process editing, and it's just a lot more work than it's worthwhile for. The biggest advantage to the Comica VM30 is obviously the fact that it's wireless. It opens up a whole new world of opportunities. So you can use this if you want a wireless boom mic. So if you wanted to interview people at weddings and keep the microphone out of shot, you could do so. Or if you wanted in the shot, you could use it as a, interviewing style microphone. So if I wanted to just hold it like this, which is coincidentally how I held it in its own review video, you can do so and it doesn't look weird because honestly, the mic itself looks pretty cool. It's got some brownie points just for looking cool. I like the orange accents and whatnot. I like just the texture and feel of it. Even though it does have some cheap parts to it, overall it is a very nice mic. Now, with this one being wireless, obviously there are, certain cons, like, it does have limitations with battery life and so on and so forth, but overall it's a really good build. The Rode VideoMic, on the other hand, is also a really good build. However, it is wired. Now, I do want to mention that this microphone, you actually can technically make it wireless. However, it does involve spending almost double what this microphone actually cost because now you have to buy the proper wireless microphone, so the wireless lavalier system. Rode obviously sells their own, but there's also DJI, there's Newer, there's so many companies that have their own wireless mics, and technically you could plug in the transmitter to the shotgun mic and then make that a wireless transmitter and then plug in the receiver to your camera or recording device. And now you technically have a wireless mic, but it's not going to be as portable and compact as this one because this one's 93 grams and everything's built in. This one's 94 grams on its own. Now you have to also add the weight and the bulkiness of those receivers to it. So it's not worthwhile. I don't know why you would do it, but you definitely can if that's something that you need to do. On the topic of spending money, I keep saying that you're gonna spend a lot of money with the Rode because the Rode mic unfortunately costs $249 US. The Comica VM30, however, on the other hand, is $60 less at $189 US, which is a much better deal, especially considering you get the windscreen, you get the boom mic clip, you get the hard carrying case, and the fact that it's wireless. So the Comica in that sense is a better buy. You can use the $60 extra that you've now saved on other camera accessories. Really, this is when it becomes time to actually make your decision. Which mic actually makes the most sense to you? And so far, before we keep going, drop a comment below and let me know which mic you're leaning towards, which microphone sounds better, and which microphone you would want to buy out of these two, because honestly, you're probably interested in one, especially if you clicked on this video. Now, likes and dislikes wise, there are a lot of things that I like, but I want to keep things short. And obviously these are my opinions at the end of the day. Everything up until this point has been factual. However, now this is where I really get to talk about how I feel. The Comica in its own stance is great. However, there are a lot of aspects about it that just feel cheap. Obviously being $189, it is kind of cheaper than the Rode microphone. So there are things that are going to lack. I like the fact that they included the carry case. I like the fact that they have the windscreen, but the gain knob on the bottom being, that cheap feeling, it's kind of gimmicky to me. It also has a screen on the front, which is cool, but in the daylight, you can hardly see it. So it's great in an, studio environment where everything is controlled. But if you're outside and it's, extremely bright, or if you're on set somewhere and it's over bright and overexposed, then now you can't really use that screen. So you can go back to using the old reliable LEDs that both of these microphones feature, but you know, there's little things. You know, we talked about the foam screen being too thin on this one. It doesn't affect the audio quality, but aesthetically, it's not as pleasing. You know, when you feel it in your hand, it doesn't feel as premium in a lot of ways. And maybe it's just that extra 1 gram, I don't know. But then on the flip side of the coin, there's the Rode VideoMic NTG. And honestly, this is my personal choice. I love using this microphone. This is my studio mic. I use it in a lot of my videos. I've used the Comica in a lot of videos as well, but this is going to be my go-to just for simplicity's sake. I know it's going to sound good, look good. I like the bassy tone that the audio gets, especially just straight out of the camera. I don't have to do a whole lot of post-process editing. So honestly, this is my personal choice. You know, it's not bashing the Comica by any means. I just prefer it more. You know, I know that Rode is a brand that, you know, we've all come to expect, and we know what their quality looks like. And so with that, you know, a business that's been in business for so many years knows what they're doing. And it's not to bash Comica, you know, obviously they're the new guy on the block, but Rode has my win here. So if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, drop a comment with how you're feeling. Let me know what you thought of this video. And honestly, guys, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.